This podcast is supported by Progressive, a leader in RV insurance. RVs are for sharing adventures with family, friends, and even your pets. So if you bring your cats and dogs along for the ride, you'll want Progressive RV insurance. They protect your cats and dogs like family by offering up to $1,000 in optional coverage for vet bills in case of an RV accident, making it a great companion for the responsible pet owner who loves to travel. See Progressive's other benefits and more when you quote RV insurance at Progressive.com today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Pet injuries and additional coverage and subject to policy terms.
Police responded to a 911 call.
Dramatic video of gun insanity in the Bronx.
Police releasing a new video of a person that they are still trying to track down.
Defund the police is not the answer.
Many people surveyed said they just don't feel safe in the city.
It's a shooting outside of a store.
This is Bo Dietl's One Tough Podcast.
Police this morning are searching for the person who turned this Harlem platform to a crime scene.
A Red Apple Media Podcast Network production. Now, here's Bo Dietl.
Okay, everybody, welcome to One Tough Podcast. And today, I have a really special guest, and he's a friend of mine for maybe 35 years or more. I don't even remember where we met, when we met. But anytime I have ever need him, I'm a big charity guy. I raise a lot of money. And anytime I ever need Mr. Steve Schirripa, he's there for me, and we raise lots of money. One of the great charities that he just reminded me of was a place called Abilities on Long Island, and that was a school for kids that were severely handicapped, and we raised lots of money. We had Willie Mays there once, with Joe Namath is always there. Great charity,
Yeah.
and Mr. Schirripa was there for me whenever I need him, and plenty of other things. He's the kind of guy, if I need some help, I call him up, and Steve's there. Now, we all know Steve from his acting abilities, but he's got a big, giant heart. He's also, you can see his shirt he's wearing. He's a big Yankee fan. I see him all the time. He's got better seats than me most of the time. He's a big Yankee fan, and you know what? As far as I'm concerned, you got the Yankees in New York City. I don't know. Is there another team?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm a Yankee fan. There's a lot of Met fans, though. They pop up everywhere.
Well, the Long Island guys are all Met fans for some reason.
Queens and Long Island.
They're like the Jets. The Long Islanders are the Jets.
I agree.
The New York are the Giants.
I agree.
You know, so Steve, why don't we go back? Where'd you actually grow up as a kid?
I grew up in Brooklyn and Bensonhurst.
Yeah.
Went to Lafayette High School. I graduated from Brooklyn College. I actually went to John Jay College one year, my freshman year. Then I graduated from Brooklyn College.
Yeah.
I moved to Vegas, 1979, 80.
Yeah.
Stayed out there for years.
What were you doing out there?
I was a maitre d'.
Yeah.
I was a bouncer at Paul Anka's club, bouncer around town. That's when the town only had 350,000 people. It was very small. And it was great then. And now it's just like every other.
It's like Coney Island now.
Absolutely. But so it was great. I moved out there, and I was a maitre d'. You know, when you back then you wore a tuxedo, you had a tip. You know, to get a good seat, you had to come across. Now it's numbered seating.
Yeah,
you know.
or it's how much you lose in a casino. You get good seats too.
Yeah, of course,
I used to be one of those degenerate gamblers. I got the best seats in the world. When you put it down to it, I was probably paying $50,000 a seat with the monies I lost.
At what price? Of course, you know? So I did that for years. Then I became an executive at the Riviera Hotel.
Executive doing what? Talent?
Yeah. I used to book acts.
Book acts.
Beach Boys.
Wow.
Frankie Valli.
Paul Anka.
Paul Anka. No, he was in the hotel, but I didn't book him.
Yeah.
But Paul and Frank Sinatra was there, and all kinds of comics.
You remember my friend Jet, right? Angelo Cheesecake? You got to remember him from Harlem, from East Harlem, from Rayos, yeah.
I didn't know him
as by the name,
back then. So we were there, and then, I started booking some acts, blah, 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 a couple of comics, big comics. Dennis Leary, Ray Romano, Kevin James. Wow. We could go on and on. Every comic just about under the sun.
Wow.
Richard Belzer, Bill Maher. And then they were doing some sketches, stuff like that. They put me in some of their stuff. I would go to L.A.
Yeah.
And then I kind of caught the acting bug, and it was a hobby for me. Yeah. It was just, I get 2 lines here, 3 lines there. I had a good job, but it was fun. Yeah. I would go to L.A., get in my car 6 o'clock in the morning, have an audition, drive back. So I did that, and then I came here for a wedding, back to New York.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't come back here much, so I didn't know any of the guys from The Sopranos. I never worked in New York. Whatever I did was in L.A. or Vegas. And I auditioned, and I got the role, and then they moved my family back here.
Wow.
And that's it. I've been here since 2000, I guess, back here.
When The Sopranos first come out, because let's face it, you talk about TV series. When I was a cop and detective, I was never home. The last series I saw was Bonanza, I think. Yeah. And to be honest with you, on Sunday nights at 9 o'clock, I had to get down. I had to watch that TV. I had to watch it. I was a Soprano addicted person. I loved the show. The character developments was superb.
Well, everybody. The show is still going now. Now, who's watching it are the kids. They were too young then, and they're watching it now. I mean, we get stopped constantly in the street. Kids in their 20s, their late teens. More people are watching The Sopranos now than watched it then because of streaming. Yeah. It's all over the world. Yeah. Saudi Arabia, here, there.
I hope you're getting proceeds
Not
from that.
much. You get a little residuals. You don't get big residuals.
Well, I know.
I mean, it's also a long time.
Yeah.
Show's been off the air since 2007,
Yeah.
But it still keeps on going.
But these amazing characters, including yourself. And I know my friend Vinny Pastore got a little pissed off when they whacked him too soon there.
Well, and I don't blame him.
Yeah,
I mean,
he was a character, yeah.
He was a good character, beloved character. For whatever reason, he never even, listen, as the years went on, we started making real money.
Oh, so he didn't really taste the good money.
He didn't taste the good money, unfortunately. But he was the first one out. So he started booking a lot of movies and TV shows because he was the first Soprano
that was out there, yeah.
And everybody knew who he was. So that was good for him. But, I mean, listen, it was a good gig. If they would have killed me early on, I'd be very upset. I'll be honest.
The only that reminds me, we were table reading. We did that the vinyl with Martin Scorsese and what is it called?
Bobby Cannavale,
Bobby
Terry Winter,
and then the guy I kill, Dice, Andrew Dice Clay. I bash his head and kill him. And I'm going to tell you so now we're there. We had the first 10 episodes. They were going to go into season 2, but then this guy Lombardi, who was running HBO for the other guy who was the president, and they released it against Walking Dead, 15 million psychopaths every Sunday night. Yeah. You can't release something against some tidal wave like that.
That was a good show, Final. I mean, I enjoyed it.
And the one part that I remember, we're doing a table read, and Marty was there, and I think, what was his name? He did the Wolf of Wall Street.
Terry Winter.
Terry Winter was there, and I'm reading in the script. All of a sudden, I get whacked, and we're around the table. I scream out. I says, "What the fuck? I'm getting whacked." They says, "Marty, I can't get whacked." I said, "Bring me back. Put a long wig on. I'll lose 20 pounds. I'll be his cousin. I want to whack the guy to whack." So everybody's laughing around the table. But I actually read my demise on the script thing, and you say to yourself, "Wow!" And I love the series, but that's part of the thing. You don't know when you're going to get whacked.
Listen, people didn't want to go. I mean, the show was rolling good. The bigger they made your character, the more they gave you to do with your character, the better chance you had to get killed off because the audience is invested in you.
Yeah.
If you kill a nobody, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
But Joey Pants, Ralphie.
Yeah.
David Proval, Richie Aprile.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the best kills. When she comes out with that gun and he's at the table, the whole world was surprised at that.
Plan on flying? In order to board domestic flights, your driver's license or state-issued ID must be a real ID. Learn how to get your real ID today at tsa.gov/real ID or visit your local DMV.
And I tell you, again, just the fondest memories of just the way the personalities were, the slang that's used and all. And, of course, James Gandolfini, and I was involved with him before he went to Italy. And it was talk with I was with Marty Scorsese. They were talking about doing a private investigating series about some of the crap that I've been doing for the last 40 years, and he was the guy. Because when we did a thing called The Gray Area for CBS when I retired, I'll never forget, we were on the fall season for that. It was a private investigating Bo Gray, that was the guy's name. That was supposedly me. And Michael Rooker, they picked for him. The guy's from the South. And the other guy, I'll never forget, we were at the Columbus Cafe over there, and Robert Conrad. They tell me, Bo, talk to Robert Conrad. We're looking for him to be you. So I meet with him, and I say, you know, Bob, no disrespect, you can't be Bo Dietl. You got that friggin' yeep in your voice, that California
but
yeep.
He had he was a little mobbed up. Conrad.
Well, he maybe mobbed from the Yeep land, not
but
from
he
New
was
York.
mobbed up with the Spilotros from Vegas. I'm telling you.
Well,
Chicago.
he could have been mobbed up, but he didn't talk like a New York guy. He had a Yeep in his friggin' voice.
Was it Baldwin? He played you?
Well, he didn't do a bad
Stephen
job.
Baldwin?
He didn't do a bad.
He played Barney Rubble.
Do you know what the story was?
I'm joking. I like Stephen Baldwin.
Did you know what the story was? The story was, I meet this guy, Mark Wahlberg. Marty Bregman was still alive. So Marty says, here, meet with, he's a good. I said, oh, great, I love the kid. So he was very skinny. He had just did the underwear commercial. And I said, hey, Mark, I said, if you're going to play me, we got to beef you up. I said, let's start going to the gym. I was flying out to California. We were doing things together, nice, having fun. 6 months he was with me. All of a sudden, Martin Bregman fires him because he wanted like a triple wide trailer or some shit. And then all of a sudden, Marty says to me, Bo, you got to pick between Matt Dillon and Stephen Baldwin. So I says, I don't know about this. So I used to go to the Four Seasons with Joey Pots and Pans, Mike the Russian, Shelley the Tailor, Al Tomatoes, my crew. We used to have cigars at 5 o'clock, Cuban cigars, have drinks. Who's sitting over there? Because I had met him in 1985 when I retired, Sylvester Stallone. He wanted to play me. I met with Pacino for the One Tough Cop crap when it first came out. Next thing is I go to Sly. Hey, Sly, I talk to you. Yeah, Bo. I said, well, Marty fired Mark Wahlberg and asked me which one should I pick. Well, who do you think I should pick up? He goes, Bo, I can still play you. I said, Sly, you're too old now. I said, I got to choose between these two. He goes, well, Matt Dillon's like a broad that's been around. You know what I mean? The other guy's like a virgin. Go with the virgin. That's how I picked Stephen Baldwin. And it was okay. I didn't like the script. They had me killing 40 people.
It's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, 40. They had me killing 40
You're
40
never
people.
Be happy with it.
Yeah, and that was the point. And then they got me banging my best friend's girlfriend. I said, that ain't in my DNA. I don't play that game. And then Marty said, well, if you don't like the script, we're not going to make the movie. So in my little feeble mind, I said, wait, they're making a feature movie about my life. If I don't do this thing will never get made, which it would have never got made. So I went along with it. I killed 40 people, which I didn't kill any. And that was One Tough Cop. And I'm going to tell you something. The movie business, like you just said, you got to go along with what they want to do, otherwise you're going to do it. And today...
Well, to a degree, unless you just say, whatever, I mean, I understand. I wrote a kid's book, Nicky Deuce. We got 5 Sopranos in it.
Yeah.
It took me 7 years to make it. I sold it to Nickelodeon. 9 scripts. When it came down to it, it was okay. I had Jim Gandolfini in it, Sirico, Johnny Sack, Michael Imperioli.
Wow.
Rita Moreno played my mother. We shot it in Canada. It wasn't what I wanted, but they weren't going to make it otherwise. So there's compromises, which is why directors go out of their mind. Then they change things, and then they don't cast who you want to cast, and it's very difficult. People have no idea how hard it is to get a movie made or a TV show made. They have no idea.
I know, and I want to speak about the Blue Bloods because I was very fortunate to get into an episode before you guys ended it, and I had a really great time doing that episode. I got blown up, but it was really beautiful. And but we'll go back to the Blue Bloods in a second because that to me is a phenomenal series also. Now, we had a big movie, $60 million movie. My friend Nick Pileggi wrote the movie, and it was about this bar social club down on Mulberry Street based on the true story of the Genovese family. And they were supposed to be Al Pacino was going to play Vito Genovese, and the other guy, what's his name that I don't like? The political creep, what's his name? Robert De Niro was supposed to play Costello. So he was supposed to play, he did. So all of a sudden it comes out, and then he had that director. What the hell is the director's name? Jewish.
Barry Levinson.
Barry Levinson was supposedly the
Big director. Big movie.
Big director, but no balls. And I'll tell him right to his face he has no balls. Because you know who directed that movie? Robert De Niro.
Well, he directs most of them.
And you know what Robert De Niro did? He decides, I want to play both leading roles. He plays...
He got double pay.
Costello and Vito Genovese.
He wanted both the money.
The back of his head. Whoa, it gets worse. This is after the pandemic. There's a lot of actors out there that could have used the word. He comes out, he makes a statement. I got it from really good sources. He don't want anybody that was in any Martin Scorsese movies. Damn you, you creep. You got actors out there that could have really used the money, the work. And that pissed me off. And I cast it for one of the parts there. It was I bought old suits.
You auditioned?
No, I really, more than an audition. I lived and breathed it and studied the character. And Nicky Pileggi's like my dad. I love him more than anything in the world.
Good guy, good man.
And all of a sudden, at Scorsese's 80th birthday, I went over to De Niro and I said, Bobby, Nicky's like my son. Nick is my father. I says, I've been in all his movies. Just throw me in there. I said, I'll shine shoes. I'll do anything. Never put me in. Now.
But what did he say?
He just mumbled on.
Well, everything is a mumble.
He left Tukey at that time. She was suing him for $500 million. So I think he was thinking about how I'm going to come up with the gap to pay her. Sure. And then he married the Chinese side order there, whatever her name is. Or he had a baby with her. I don't even know. I can't follow. But my point is, this is a perfect example. You don't know what's going on in Hollywood. And no matter what you try to do, you could bring the best script. Now try to do a One Tough Cop now. Unless you have a black superhero flying around, nobody's interested.
Well, I don't think they would ever make The Sopranos now.
Never.
Not in a million years.
Politically not correct, man.
Not in a million
and everybody says, oh, Bo, you should do One Tough Cop. The true story was really a great story. The nun rape, how Tommy and I actually broke it with one guy. It was a great story. But what we did, I can't put it in a script. You're hanging a guy off a roof and you let go of one hand. I was very strong. I never lost one guy off the roof. And, you can't put this stuff in there. And the stuff that you did.
Well, listen.
Times have changed.
Times have changed, of course. It's the world is upside down.
Yeah.
New York City's upside down.
Oh.
And it's not even, listen. I'm not a political guy. I'm not even going to talk politics because I don't know enough about it. It's common sense, Bo.
Yeah.
It's common sense. Where all these people are coming in, we're giving them money, we're feeding them, we're putting them in hotels, they're robbing us. We are supporting these people on mopeds. They're robbing us. They're driving like lunatics. They don't need licenses, insurance, nothing. Uh-huh. They are robbing us. Yet we're supporting them. You could hit a woman over the head. There was a woman up in my neighborhood, Upper West Side. They hit her over the head. They almost killed her. They're out the next day. They hit the cops. When I was a kid,
they're shooting the cops.
If they were, but you saw the fight in Times Square. When I was a kid, you talk back at a cop, they're going to take you down the precinct in the basement,
beat the living shit
and
out
beat
of
the crap out of you. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that's right either. All I'm saying is there's got to be respect, or what's happening is what's happening.
All right, so New Yorkers voted in Eric Adams, who I know for 40, I know him forever. They've voted him in for one reason. For public safety and for the crime problem that we're having.
I thought
he's a former captain.
I thought he would help with the crime problem.
Now, you got to understand something. Again, I get kicked in the butt all the time from people, oh, it's your friend. My point is, do you actually know what this city council, how powerful they are? Every time he wants to pass something and support more cops and all that, they vote against him. He vetoes it. They override the veto, all these progressives. So I actually talked to the mayor. I put together a charter revision, city charter revision. I testified a week ago in front of them. I said, I'm not here as a cop or a detective. I'm here as a grandfather and a father. My grandson was in the audience with my daughter. I said, I'm here because of them, because New York is not safe. What we have to do is put it on the ballot in November, take the policing power away from these liberal progressive city councils, Give it to this mayor, and if this mayor doesn't work with that, get rid of him too. My point is safety and public safety is the most important thing.
This is the biggest problem in New York.
Absolutely.
It's the crime. I got my 2 daughters live here too. Yeah. I worry sick every single day.
And my sons travel the subway.
Okay. I understand. So does my daughter. So, I mean, the crime is a real problem. 8th Avenue from 23rd Street to 57th Street is a zoo. It's animals. Junkies in the street. White, black, all different nationalities. It's disgusting. All right? That is the biggest problem. I worry about my wife.
Hold on. When we got these Venezuelan gang members that are released out of jail, raping that little 12-year-old girl, killing and raping
They're
2
everywhere.
girls everywhere. Now I'm gonna give you a little information because I get all kinds of intelligence report from. I don't want to tell you where I get them from. They're factual. Like there was 30-something people that were murdered in Russia last week by ISIS-K. ISIS-K are back, strong as hell. When Trump wiped them out, they wiped them out. Now they're back. They're not just attacking just in Russia. All Uzbekistan, all over the place, Pakistan. These are guys that are bent just to kill people with their beliefs. Now, how many gotaways are on our southern border? They said probably 1.5 million. What is a gotaway? Tell me what a gotaway is.
I have no idea.
They don't know what a gotaway is because they don't even know where they got away from. My point is, America has been infiltrated with terrorists that we are about to see come into action.
I have no doubt.
And I'm going to tell you something. Everybody's going to be pointing their fingers. I went to this governor. I gave her $5,000, Hochul. And I said to her in front of her husband, I said, the husband was very nice. And I said, he was a former U.S. attorney in Washington. I said, I would like to talk to your wife. I said, Miss Governor, you're the executive of this state. You're the most powerful person. Why can't you do an executive order tomorrow? Any illegal immigrant arrested on a felony, why can't you give it to ICE? What reason? Then I told Eric Adams, my mayor, you're the executive of this city. I know you got a city council that got you by your nuts, but why can't you do an executive order as the mayor of New York? If you're an illegal immigrant and you get locked up on a felony, why can't we turn them over to ICE? What is the reason behind this, Steve? I get so crazy about it.
Well, everyone gets crazy. You can't watch the news. You can't read a newspaper. It's insane. And let me tell you something. The city, so when I had moved back here, right, I mean, I left here in the 70s. I mean, I was here when it was...
Well, I was a cop and a detective. It was crazy.
Right, and all through the 80s, I was back there. And
Yeah.
I know things were shitty here.
Yeah.
But when I came back, Giuliani was in before he went off the rails. I love Rudy, but he went off the rails.
Yep.
Right? So Rudy was here, and then Bloomberg. The city was safe. It was fantastic. There was really no bad neighborhoods in Manhattan, except for if you go all the way uptown. It was wonderful.
Absolutely.
Everybody was making money. They were thriving. It was a safe city. De Blasio and his wife, they had a plan.
Yep.
And the minute he got in, she was calling the shots because he's an asshole.
Yeah.
He's a Hall of Fame asshole.
I named him Big Bird.
Okay, an asshole. They had a plan. I swear to you, I sold my apartment here. I told my wife, we're in for trouble here. And I sold my apartment because I didn't want to own anything here, right?
Yeah.
In New York anymore. He and his wife destroyed this city. So Adams, who, like yourself, I have some other friends that like him a lot. It was so buried. He couldn't get out from under.
Especially when you have a city council. Nobody votes.
I understand.
Yeah.
But this de Blasio, I blame him. The mayor of New York was graffitiing. He was, didn't he write graffiti on Fifth Avenue?
Did you know I ran against this creep? He had the Board of Election knock me off the Republican line, the Democratic line on technicalities, and then maybe pass the law that you can urinate in public.
Yeah.
I put a bullseye on Gracie Mansion and at a news conference, let's all piss on Gracie Mansion. My point is that you are exactly right. And then Operation Thrive, $1.5 billion disappears. Nonprofits, bullshit. If it was you and me or or Italian guys, we'd be handcuffed.
And then he also used his grandmother's maiden name as de Blasio.
Yeah.
He is a piece of shit.
His name is Warren Wilhelm.
He is one of the worst people ever. He is. Even David Dinkins said this guy sucks.
You are
That's
so,
how bad a mayor this guy was.
You said about the 70s and 80s, which I was a cop during that time. The difference on this thing, Stephen, was back then we were respected. We could lock these scumbags up and put them away. Today, when a cop gets involved, they're worried about losing their pension, their job. Then when you get a city council that says, you can't get a guy in the headlock. I came on the force, I was 5'8". If I couldn't use a headlock, and I never killed nobody, that's how I grabbed the big 6'3", 4 guy down, got him in the headlock. Can't do that. You can't get on top of diaphragm law. And then on top of it, if you lock a guy up on a robbery, all he's got to say is, that cop over there called me the N-word. You know what they'll do? Drop the charges and go after the friggin' cop and try to take the house.
You know, I don't know how anyone is a cop now. I'll be honest. I mean,
well, they're not. They said crime is down. You know why? Because the cops are not proactive.
Yeah.
We used to go out there and we'd take guns off the street. Now they're afraid. But don't put your hands on me. I'll have your badge. I'll have your gun.
But on the other hand, there are cops that were too much to everyone, not just.
Oh, you got bad cops like you got bad doctors.
Well, absolutely,
but
1,000%. I mean, you know, so it's not one way, but I see what's happening here. It's very scary, but it's not just here. L.A. is even worse.
Across the country.
They destroyed my favorite city, San Francisco.
And you know what it is? And that has to do with this criminal that should have died. It's the George Floyd effect of 2020. Point is this now has become the calling cards. When you get Black Liberation Army, no, they're the black, what do they call BLM? I don't know, BLM, whatever the hell they're called. All of a sudden they were able to riot. I'm not talking about demonstration. Riot, burn, assault, do everything. Nobody was prosecuted. The only ones that were prosecuted and sued were the cops. That's where the money. When that happened, that George Floyd effect, that's when the cops have lost their power and everybody was turning on
It's a shame because I love this city, but it makes you want to flee. I mean, I own a house in California, part of California.
Yeah, but that sucks with that. Newsom, your state, you had about $25 billion surplus. Now you owe about $50 billion.
Newsom is worse than Hochul, if you could believe that. He's worse than Hochul.
That pretty boy there, he destroyed California.
Destroyed it.
And now he wants to
single-handedly destroyed it.
And now he wants to be president.
Yeah, well, he'll destroy the rest of whatever's left. He'll destroy.
Yeah, but let's.
You got me all riled up.
I know. Let's talk.
Nice afternoon. You got me riled up.
Let's talk about one of the great series, Blue Bloods.
Blue Bloods. I wasn't there the day you worked.
Yeah, well,
we just wrapped the show up. 14 seasons. I was on 9 seasons.
Wow.
I did 147 episodes.
Yeah.
Nice bunch of people, cast, crew, directors. We had the rap party in Williamsburg. It's over. Yeah. They were trying to keep it going. Tom Selleck was trying and everybody was trying, but all good things must come to an end. I don't think the show is woke enough.
Well, that's right, because you guys were real.
I also don't think they like that they said the prayer at the end of their dinner.
That's bad.
You know,
can't do that.
I don't think they like that. I don't know why he was making money. They asked the main cast, to take a 25% cut in pay last season. They did. And then they pulled the plug anyway. It's the third or fourth rated highest show on TV, primetime. And they pulled the plug, man.
Well,
I don't know.
Everything is woke now. Corporations are losing money because of the wokeness. Now the entertainment industries, if you're not woke,
I think look, Blue Bloods is all over the world. They're not losing money. They just may not be making as much money as CBS wants them to. You know, that's the thing.
Well, it's a prime
just
spot.
Like a restaurant.
Well,
you go to a restaurant, so they got to pay more money to the workers. They got to pay more food costs. They're not taking the hit. Me and you are taking a hit when you pay.
Well, who wants to watch Blue Bloods when they have my friend Queen Latifah kicking the shit out of everybody, flying around with her sister, her mother? That's what sells. That's what sells. Or the neighborhood. It's not politically correct, Blue Bloods. So that's why you're off the air. I'll never forget when we filmed the spot I filmed. I played a wise guy, of course. I get very stereotypetatious here.
What are you going to play, an English professor?
So basically, it's a family thing. My daughter's getting married, and then they put a bomb in my car. They blow me up, and I'm laying in the hospital. And they had to take it out because it was so funny. So the kid Wahlberg and that actress, the Spanish girl there, come in to interview me. And so they walk into my hospital bed. I press the button. I said, "Nurse, I'm being invaded." Nurse. He rips it out of my hand. I said, "I got nothing to say to you." He goes, "Hey," I think Carmen was his name. "Hey, Carmen, you're a real tough guy." I said, "I have nothing to say to you." So I said to the female detective, I said, "Hey, look it, why don't you take your little dick and get out of here?" They used to call them detectives. The whole thing stopped. The director, everyone was laughing. I called, I said, "Take your little dick and get out of here." They couldn't use that in there, obviously.
But it was a great show and a lot of fun, and I enjoyed every moment of it. And I went in to do 1 or 2 episodes, and I wound up sticking around for 9 years.
You were great in what you did, and you want to know something. The political correctness, you guys were able to avoid a lot of the work for a lot of years. I mean, you lasted a lot longer with the environment for the last 3 years that were there, and everything became overwhelmingly woke and all that stuff.
Yeah, but it is what it is. You got to move on. It was a good run, and
what are you working on now?
I'm working on nothing. Absolutely nothing. I've been very lucky, Bo. So I got on the Sopranos in 2000. When that ended, I was on another show for 5 years with Molly Ringwald, and then I went right into Blue Bloods. We've had books. We did the podcast. I'm not working on anything. I just finished. I don't know, when is this going to air? I don't know, but
next week.
All right, so last week we finished. I'm going on vacation. If I work again, fine. If not, I did all right. I saved my dough.
Well, you were
I'm going to hang out with my wife.
You're not the typical Italian. You saved your money.
I saved my money. Yeah. I got my little dog. I got a famous weenie dog named Willie Boy.
Good.
And I'll hang out with
him.
And
I know you really, we mentioned charities in the beginning, and your big charity, the Garden of Dreams. What's
Garden of Dreams Foundation. Well, with the Madison Square Garden. Jim Dolan, who I love.
What is that all about?
Kids, underprivileged kids in the tri-state area.
Yeah.
They do all kinds of great things. They build libraries. They sports programs, makes dreams come true. Some of the kids have been there from when they were little. Now they're in college. It's wonderful. So I host the Garden of Laughs. We just did it this year. Some big comics, John Oliver and Bill Burr, and we had all kinds of great people over the years. We've had Jerry Seinfeld, Sebastian Maniscalco, Ray Romano.
Wow.
And we sold out 5,500 people. I host it. So that's a lot of fun. I help them when they can. I mean, it's a really good charity. The money stays here, and every dollar, because some of these charities are phony. Yeah. This is not a phony one.
Fugazi, yeah.
It is not. Where you go to do a charity, it's a small charity. CEO's making $500,000 a year. You're busting your ass trying to raise money for them. You go, wait a minute, what that guy do?
Yeah,
for
you look at the budget, all of a sudden 10% went to the charity. Yeah.
Every dollar here. And Dolan puts in money.
All right, so that's
every dollar.
That's one of our good charities, Garden of Dreams.
The Garden of Dreams Foundation.
Garden of Dreams Foundation. So that's a good charity. I'll be part of that charity too. Right. I love charities. That's one of the things. God should give me a lot more money.
Well, listen, you've given me the table a lot of times where I auctioned it off for big money.
Well, today I was up there this afternoon for the hospital in Staten Island, and they raised $10,000, and all of a sudden they had all the pinky ring guys in there. I said, "You guys all look very successful. I tell you what I'll do. $20,000, you got the table, my Thursday night table this year.
And you have an 8-top, right?
10-top.
A 10-top.
I have the big table in the front. So one of the guys says, one condition, you come and have dinner with us. So I don't have to pick up the check. So I save $2,400. So I'll go.
So what do you have, it once a week?
Yeah, since
you've given it to me.
Since 1977, it was the first table that Frankie ever gave out. I have it every Thursday. I raise over $600,000 a year for charities. How
often do you go? anymore.
I'm lucky if I get there once a month.
All right, so I'm saying, so 52 weeks, so you go what?
I'm maybe once or twice a month.
Okay.
And I'll be honest with you.
You've given me the table.
But I'll be honest with you, it's just, I raised so much money, and when I figured it out for 35 years, I mean, tens of millions of dollars.
That's great.
And I
So people that never been to Rails, it's a big deal to go.
Yeah, and I sometimes when I go and I do the bidding, like I did the bidding for Long Island for a big charity, and I was bidding the tables up, and two of them went. It was $32,000. I had two guys bidding. I said, I tell you what, you got a table, you got $64,000. How do you raise money like that?
Yeah, you did that for. I did that. I did one at the Waldorf. You did that. You added another one.
Well, all I know is, Steve, regardless if you ever do another TV series, if you ever do another movie, I'm your friend.
Oh, I know.
2 o'clock in the morning.
You've helped me out on numerous
2
occasions.
o'clock in the morning, God forbid, you need something with your children or your family, I'm there. I'm one of those guys, not when you're riding high.
What do you think I came here? I had to come cross town. You think that was easy?
Well, thanks for
Forget
coming,
2 in the
Steve.
morning. It's 90 degrees out. I came here for
I
you.
love you, Steve. And you know what? New York loves you, and you're a real New Yorker.
Thank you.
Please don't leave. Don't leave me alone,
No,
please.
no. I'm here. As long as my kids are here, I'm here.
Yeah.
I have a place out there.
We'll have to fight together back to back, all right?
I mean, one of these days, maybe a new guy will come in and clean everything up. I hope.
I don't know.
Everyone's hoping.
You know, you said something on Sid's show, which I listened to, and you said something that
So
it ain't
broke,
coming
it
back.
can't be fixed.
You know, I know something. Hey, look at me. I hate to say it.
Not in our lifetime.
I hate to say
like
it.
I know.
I agree with you, Steve. And I am New York. Look at it. I stabbed all kinds.
But I was saying the other day, besides that stuff, but in the early 2000s, we were out. I used to run into you everywhere.
Yeah.
Tribeca Grill, this place, that place. Everybody was out and about, man.
Having a great time.
Not anymore. I don't go out as much anymore. Nowhere
No,
near.
but nobody goes out.
Hey, you can't stay out late anymore. You know what I mean? You're wearing a watch, they grab it off your arm. I mean, it's not like if someone's going to watch this and they're going to go, I'm afraid to go to New York. It's not like that. There's not havoc in the streets. But you really got to be careful.
And you got to look around. You can't put your earbuds in and not pay attention.
Well, that's why you saw me when I walk, I have an iPod, because I still have a flip phone, and I wear a thing around my neck. It's a speaker. Because if you put the headset on,
you don't even know where
you're doomed.
Yeah. Well, Steve, thank you so much, my friend, and thank you for being here. We're cranking the podcast up. I'm very honored that you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Good to see you, my
All
friend.
right. Thank you.
Hello, folks. Larry Kudlow here. Pay attention, because China is leading the largest anti-American alliance since World War II. One that's already dumped U.S. bonds, grabbed 43 million acres of our farmland, and is plotting to dethrone the dollar. That's why IRA and 401k savers are protecting their savings with gold. Please go to freegoldguide.com/Kudlow or just call 800-621-3908 for your free gold guide on how to protect your wealth with gold 100% tax-free.